Well, it is 12 days past the transfer and I have my beta today. I have not taken a pregnancy test, but I wanted to do that this morning just so I could be a little bit more prepared for the results, so I'm not in a total state of shock if it's bad when my doctor calls. So sorry I look like a mess, I just woke up. Here it is. I'm like shaking right now. Seriously, the amount of anxiety I had last night. I don't know if you can see that. I'm really freaking nervous. Alright, here goes nothing. Alright, I have it out of sight. Behind my camera, I'm gonna give it a few minutes. I'm like physically shaking right now. Like I'm shivering. I'm like so paranoid to look at it right now. Oh my god. Alright. Hasn't been a full 3 minutes, but if it's not gonna come up now, it's not gonna come up ever. Which way is the right way? There's 2 lines. They look dark. The glare. I'm like seeing it, but it's not like clicking in my head, you know what I mean? Like I've spent like this whole week just wondering what the number was gonna be. It's pretty dark. It's just as dark as the control line. I can't even see it with the glare. God, it's like it's not sinking in. All right. I feel relieved, but I'm like, I still gotta know that number, but I feel, oh, it's sinking in. It's sinking in. All right. I gotta go show Robert while it sinks in. Okay. So we have some beta results for you guys. We had our first beta done on 12 days past the transfer, and I really wanted to get us taking the call on video, but it just didn't work out. The timing didn't work out, so we're just going to have to verbally tell you what happened with that. So my first, well, obviously, like I had a really strong pregnancy test, as you just saw. That was really awesome. So when I went to go get the test done, I was like literally like skipping to my loo, like into the doctor's office. I was so excited. And the nurse was like, "Did you take a test?" And I was like, "Yep, just took one today and it was super positive." And she's like, "Oh, that's a good start." So got the results for that. And the number was
558.
558! Yay! They like to see it at least 100 at that time, and for me personally, I would have felt comfortable as long as it was a 300. Like I didn't even want to be on the line of 100. I wanted to be like a solid 300, but it was 558. such a huge sigh of relief. Like, I mean, obviously I knew I was pregnant because it was super strong, positive, but you know, that's only half of it, because then they have to check to see if it doubles. That's the other like very important part of that. So 2 days later, on 14 days past the transfer, my doctor had me go to Quest, which is an outside lab. And why exactly he had me do that, I'm not sure. I think it had something to do with the fact that once the first test has a high beta and it's positive, then you're considered pregnant at that point. So I think like my insurance would pick up the second beta test at an outside lab, not in his lab. I don't know, not totally sure. But either way, I'm not really happy that he does that at all, because I couldn't get an appointment until 3 p.m. on that day, and it was a Friday. And so I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I really don't think we're going to be able to get the results the same day like we do if we get the blood taken at his office. So sure enough, like, you know, the Friday ends, no results. I was like, you know, not happy I have to wait all weekend, but what can you do?
We'll get them on Monday.
So then I'm like just stressing out on Saturday and Sunday. Meanwhile, I know people who are like going through this process at the same time as me, and like people who have already had their transfers after me already have their second betas, and I'm sitting here waiting, and I'm like, this is crap. Like, this is not okay to make me wait all weekend for this. Like, the longer it was taking, the more angry I was getting. So anyways, Monday comes around. It's like 2 p.m. on a Monday. Their office closes at 4. Still didn't hear anything. And I thought for sure I was going to wake up on Monday morning to a message. And I was like, "Argh." So I was like not happy. So just super unhappy on Monday. I called Quest and they were like, oh, it could take 24 to 48 hours. And they might have just even started doing the test on Monday. And I was like, that would bring me to Wednesday. Called the doctor's office to make sure they hadn't gotten the test. They didn't. So the next day, which was Tuesday, I was just like fuming. Like, I was so
Nuts.
irrationally angry, but like nobody else has to wait 4 days for their test. Like, I just felt like it was just so unfair. So I was like, Robert, I was like at home and he was at work. I'm like, please do something. Like, I can't with this. I'm just so mad right now. I can't even see straight. So he called up the office, and lo and behold, they had just received the results. Like, what'd they say? Like, just a few minutes before you called?
Yeah, I mean, I called him and I said, yeah, my wife is not happy. I'm not happy, and because my wife's not happy, and I need to get these numbers. Okay, yeah, let me check on it. And, well, wait a minute, you know what? I think they just came in. I'm like, sure they did. Yeah. Maybe because I sounded very angry. So
yeah. So then I guess my doctor was going into surgery or something. So he's like, I'm not even waiting for him. Like, have a nurse tell me the results right now. Mm-hmm. So she got on the phone and she said,
the numbers looked really good. And then she got them to me and said it was 1,920.
Yay! Woo-hoo. So that was definitely more than a double. That was
almost quadrupled.
That was a really good rise.
I think it's because there's twins in there.
We'll get to my thoughts on that. So yeah, we were very excited. But then by the time I had gotten the news, that was already like 4-day-old news. So I was like, cool, that's awesome for 4 days ago. But like, what's going on with me right now? You know, you still want to know what's happening at that moment to like make you feel comfortable. So I actually am having my first ultrasound really soon. Some doctors make you wait until they can see a heartbeat at like 6 or 7 weeks, but mine is having me do an ultrasound tomorrow when I will be 5 weeks, 5 days pregnant. Friday. Oh yeah, not tomorrow, yeah. Friday, on St. Patrick's Day. 5 weeks, 5 days pregnant, I'm having my first ultrasound. I'm assuming to see if, they can check how many sacs are there to see if one or both embryos took, and also just to make sure there's no ectopic pregnancies or anything like that, and to see, if they can see the yolk sac, the fetal pole, I don't know, all those things that they check for.
If they see 4 sacs.
If they were seeing 4 sacs, I'd be like miserable on the ground right now, I think. So.
Yeah, me too.
Anyways, 5:58 to 19:20, and we were really excited. But now, of course, with infertility and during this process, you always have to find the next thing to be nervous about. So now I'm nervous about what they're gonna find on the ultrasound, and if after that, if everything looks good, then my next ultrasound won't be till 7 weeks, and then they'll check for the heartbeat. So, we're slowly crossing, everything off the list, but of course, miscarriage is always an unfortunate possibility. So I'm just trying really hard to just stay positive and just believe that, yes, there is a tiny little sesame seed of a embryo inside of me right now, or at least one,
We're
maybe two.
cautiously optimistic.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody is like, yay, I'm pregnant, I'm gonna be pregnant for life and like
let's
have a
go
baby.
baby shopping. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be rough, but so far everything looks good, and I'm just trying so hard to just reassure myself that it's gonna continue to stay that way. Symptoms that I've had in the second half of the 2-week wait, I actually had some implantation bleeding, some brown spotting, late at night, just before 10 days past the transfer, which I knew logically was a good sign, but of course I still got freaked out. I was like, it's too late for implantation bleeding. And then I think probably like 5 or so days later, I had a little bit more, just like one, small amount of brown spotting. It didn't last long at all.
I told her the whole time she'd be fine.
So that was fine. And then my boobs have been a little bit like weird on and off. Nothing like sore or painful, just some random sensations or weird feelings.
Totally weird boobs.
So those like come and go. I've been like, I want to say highly emotional, but not even like crying emotional, like
Psychotic emotional?
like angry emotional.
Yeah,
like-
she's nuts.
But I feel like that's also subsided. Like I'm having symptoms that like something starts and then like it ends and then something else starts happening. So they come and go, and like, I know that's typical, but you just wish that you had like a solid symptom. And I, obviously a lot of people get morning sickness at this point, and I'm like, I feel fine. I haven't had any food aversions. I haven't had any cravings. I haven't had anything, with stomach issues. Just a little bit of the bleeding, a little bit of like craziness. And also today I really started to notice I was getting like very breathless very easily. I walked from my car into the mall and walked a little bit around the mall. I barely did any walking, and I was like walking and talking at the same time. And then when I stopped, I was like, whew, I know I'm not this out of shape. Like this has to be something here. This has to be good. But so far, I'm gonna say like I don't really feel pregnant. I mean, I guess when I'm like huffing and puffing just because I like walked 10 feet and like was talking at the same time, I guess maybe that should make me feel like I'm pregnant. I don't know. But when I think when you think of feeling pregnant, you think of feeling sick and just like totally drained, and right. So I don't feel that way. But then again, I didn't really feel pregnant during the first 2-week wait and the first part of the 2-week wait, and look what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So some people, I guess, just don't feel it. But I'm not gonna lie, if I felt a little morning sickness here and there, I wouldn't mind. That would, be really reassuring. And for that reason that I haven't really felt super pregnant and I don't have a lot of symptoms, I just have a really hard time believing there's 2 in there.
I think the high beta numbers, that could
I
be
mean,
the
they're
reason.
high, but they're not like through the roof high. Like there's definitely people going through this process at the same time as I am, that I'm communicating with, and there's been plenty of people with higher betas. I mean, they're good. They're high enough to be like good, like really good, but they're not like over the top high or anything like that.
We shall see
beta number,
Friday.
they say beta numbers don't really even indicate whether it's a singleton or a twin pregnancy anyway. So it's hard to go by that. We'll find out on Friday if there's 1 or 2 sacs, but I'd be really surprised if there were 2, just because I feel like the girls who I know are having 2 right now, like they felt sick like almost instantaneously, and I haven't. So I'll be happy either way.
Yep, absolutely.
We'll see how it goes. So that's the long-awaited update. Sorry to make you wait, but it took me even a really long time to get the results myself, and then I'm not gonna lie, I got kind of lazy.
Oh, do you want me to tell them about the light thing?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Really quick story. So if you watch my last video about my symptoms and being visited by a spirit, Then you heard my story of how our bathroom lights go on, and we, contribute that to his mother-in-law, and her
Well,
spirit.
my mom, her mother-in-law.
Yeah, having something to do with that. So listen to this.
I went on Saturday. This happened this past Sunday while we were waiting for the results for the second beta. So I went to the cemetery on Saturday just to kind of give my mom an update. Not that she doesn't already know. She's watching everything, obviously. But just had a little chat with her and stuff like that. And I asked her, I said, hey, can you do me a favor? I know Amy's freaking out about the results and stuff. I know it's going to be fine. Can you just like give me a little sign, maybe flip on the light, just kind of let me know? Because the light hasn't been on since, I don't know, a couple weeks.
Since that story, yeah.
That other time. And,
right.
And so I'm like, all right, so do that. And then woke up on Sunday, left out of the room, and I looked into the room, and sure enough, the light was on. So
yeah, the guest bathroom light was on.
Kind of freaky and kind of cool at the same time.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't know he did that at all. He was just like, I have to tell you something, and I was like, what? And then he told me that story, and I was like,
yeah.
Are you kidding me? I'm like, as cool as that is, it doesn't really make me stop worrying. Let's try an experiment. If the light is on tomorrow, that means I have absolutely nothing to worry about for the next 9 months. Can we make that happen?
Let's see what happens. I'm going to turn it on anyway.
I won't believe it then. All right, guys. Well, we will have another update after the ultrasound, and we'll let you know how that went.